Oh, yes. The thing about words is they're very powerful. Very powerful. Some even say that the pen is mightier than the sword, which is interesting because the sword is just a S word, right? And, it's really interesting when you take a look at little pieces of these spells, right? You break them apart and they kind of reveal some of their meaning to you if you know what you're looking for, if you know how to listen, right? One of the things in our culture, well, let's take a look at the word culture, right? What is it? Culture. Culture. It's kind of like your cult, huh? It's what you were, born into and raised up with. You think it's normal. You think it's right. You think it's the good thing. You think other people that don't live that way may be a little bit crazy, maybe even evil. It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? And of course, you could get a cup of yogurt, and then you could also use the word culture. So what is a culture? Well, in the context of yogurt, it's a bunch of organisms living together in the same sort of way, making them very similar. It forms a culture. Interesting. You could take a look at humans and look at them and say, well, you know what? They're basically just like bacteria cells in a country. And then, of course, there are other meanings for the word cell now, aren't there? Right? You might have a cell wall. Now, it holds in a prisoner or a nucleus, depending on what we're talking about, right? Of course, it might be a communist cell, communist terrorists that are, waiting to be activated like cancer to spread throughout the body, right? Those are cells too, aren't they? Cancer cells in the body, not communicating with the rest of the organism, doing their own thing, sucking off of that blood supply. Interesting, the parallels, no? Very interesting parallels. Another thing to think about is rent, right? I mean, you think about that word, rent. You toss it around casually. Yeah, I'm renting the car. I'm renting the house. You understand what it means to have something rent from you, right? Like if I were to have rent your arm, right? If I rend your flesh, if we render payment to our landlord, we've been rent, right? Something ripped away from us, huh? Something to think about, It's enough to make you start drinking sometimes. Some people, anyway. Of course, what are you drinking? Hopefully water. Hopefully it's not distilled spirits because, you just look at that word. That doesn't seem like a good thing now, does it? You want your spirit to be still, like the waters, calm, ready to reflect and see truth, not distilled, right? Why would you want that? Why would you inspire, right? Because, if you put something into yourself, like respiration, right? Respiring, breathing in. Well, to be inspired, of course, is to have a spirit put into you, right? To be inspired. You don't want to be inspired by distilled spirits, that's for sure. You might start getting greedy, start talking like this is mine and that's mine, drunk talk. And what are we saying when something is mine? Well, what we're saying is that it's in me. Part of me, or I want it to be a part of me. Feeling greedy about that. It's in me, right? Lodged in my mind, you might say. Something to think about, when you start tossing that around. It's mine. It's the kind of thing that some husbands do to their wives. Of course, if you take a look at that word, it's no wonder that sort of thing, that sort of possessive nonsense goes on. Because after all, the word husband comes from animal husbandry, right? That biological science that tells us how to take animals and breed them, care for them, pet them, take care of them, make nice with them until you shear them or slaughter them, right? That's animal husbandry. You sure you want a husband, ladies? Or do you want a man? Because I'll tell you what, I ain't interested in a wife, right? I'm happy with my woman, but I'm not interested in a wife. Right? I would encourage you, unless you're looking to be animal husbanded, right? You get yourself a man. Don't worry about a husband. Take a look at that word. There's a lot there. Okay, this is the kind of thing that, makes you want to get back to God. All of this spooky stuff going on in the terrestrial world. Let me just go back home to God's world of spirit, right? Of course, the word for that, getting back to God, is religion. And if you just take a look at it, right? Now, this is a dictionary definition, one of them big, thick dictionaries that I'm a fan of. Really breaks the word down. And you see there, comes from the Latin religio, bond between man and the gods, huh? Interesting. So, lig, like ligament. binding, connecting, okay? Or like a ligand, right? That's in your brain. Or like a lingam. I'll let you look that one up for yourself, okay? Religion, to rebind, okay? Ligament, connection. So, therefore, the people running around talking about, Satanism, equal protection for religion. It's not a religion, not by definition. You gotta look at this stuff. This is word war, baby. This is word war, okay? They're casting spells on us. You understand? Spells with spelling. Okay? And it would really be a catastrophe or a disaster if we didn't stop to notice that and use that power against them and for ourselves, okay? Disaster. Aster. Astronomical. Astrophysics. What are we talking about? Space and the stars. So why is it that our words for big, huge problems like disaster and catastrophe have to do with missing stars, stars that go away, stars that maybe have exploded and are causing problems here on Earth? Catastrophe, disaster. What's the connection there? Why are those things connected, huh? Did we have a star pop off somewhere in the past and it's burned into our genetic memory? I don't know. Something to think about, though. Something to think about. Whatever you do, don't let it distract you, because that's when you end up slipping and falling, right? When you have destroyed your traction, right? Don't get distracted, okay? Because that sort of thing will take you away from the good, or from God, and maybe lead you towards the evil, or the evil, right? Maybe lead you toward the evil. Gotta watch out for these things. It's all right in your face. And it's really important not to pretend that you understand things that you don't. All right? Ignorance is just something to be worked with. Okay? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Don't pretend that you understand things that you don't, because what you're saying is that you're willing to stand under. So when that judge says, blah, 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 do you understand what I just said? And you're like, yep. You just said voluntarily, willingly, I'll stand under that. Gotta think about these things. This is word magic. Okay? Swords. Things you need to be aware of, because they're twisting it on us left and right. Take a look at the word liberal. Huh? Look at that. Huh. Social or political views that favor non-revolutionary progress and reform. Seeing liberals acting like that today? So-called liberals? Or have they stolen the word? Well, let's see. What's another definition for it? Having, expressing, or following views or policies that favor the freedom of individuals to act or express themselves in a manner of their own choosing? That sounds like fascism, according to the liberals of today. You see? They take and they twist. They take and they twist because words are powerful. Words are the forms that we use for ideas. And if they mutilate the form, then we can't share the idea very well now, can we? This is all very deliberate. Deliberate. Liber. Think about these things. Look at these things. Learn about these things. I'm just tossing it out there for you. Okay, this is all stuff you can figure out. Y'all are smart. We're just having a little bit of fun here on a Sunday morning. So I'll leave you with a few choice words from the subway system here in New York. All right? You tell me what you think of these things. Some people say this is the way to be tough. Other people have other ideas. Stay blessed.